Our keynote speaker today is Dr. Henry Lee of the Henry Lee Institute of Forensic Science in New Haven, Connecticut. Dr. Lee is one of the world's foremost forensic scientists. During his career, he has gone from police captain in Taipei to PhD scientist to commissioner of public safety in Connecticut to founder of the Henry Lee Institute of Forensic Science. Over the past 40 years, he has worked on more than 6,000 cases of international recognition. Dr. Lee.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, over the year I learned when you search a garbage dumpster, don't do by yourself. Have younger people go in first because you don't know what's inside. And I searched a lot of a garbage dumpster in my life. I got home, nobody want to talk to me. Think I smell. And today we're going to talk about a little bit the importance of forensic education. Pete talked about it. I've been in business for more than about 50 years in law enforcement and forensic work. Look at how young, how handsome I am. That time, in 1958, I joined the police force. My wife saw that uniform and so decided to marry me. Then I became a captain. We solved in charge detective, solved quite a few cases. And then I come to United States and study at the NYU under a Nobel Prize molecular biologist, Dr. Savaro Ochoa, got my PhD, then become the first chief criminalist for the state of Connecticut. I have that job for about 30 years and work on a lot of cases, a lot of body. Then I become the commissioner for Connecticut State Police. After 2 terms, I really missed my forensic work, back to the forensic work as chief emeritus for 10 years. Now, back to teaching. That's all my life story. I've been really lucky, work with 46 countries, a lot of good investigators on 8,000 and more cases. Doesn't matter from Switzerland, Jerusalem, China, or Russia, the same thing. A homicide is a homicide. Victim's family want the justice. And if an innocent person was arrested, that person wants somebody to have the integrity and courage to get up and speak for them. I've been participating in war crime investigation, Kosovo, Bosnia, 9/11, this World Trade Center attack, and of course, it's next to Connecticut. That time we sent a lot of rescue team, myself and 18 DNA scientists every weekend. We're helping out. Also at the United Nations request, we did some investigation in South America and Africa. We also work on a lot of rich, famous case, political figure from JFK to Clinton's dress, from Robert Kennedy to TWA, all those cases, serial killer, mass killer. We even work on historical case. You probably say, who give a shit, who killed Kentucky? And, but as a scientist, we do all the history to find out. As a matter of fact, USA Today have a special edition, 25 headlines changed the world history. When I look at that 25 headlines, 14 of those we directly, indirectly involved. From 9/11 to O.J. Simpson to Katrina, all those cases. In other words, forensic science today do affect the world now, not like the early days. One of the type of case investigation is the most difficult case. That's the police shooting case. Police shooting case, many times you can start a major riot. For example, this is a New Jersey Turnpike shooting. at the request of New Jersey governor, they call my governor want to borrow me for a couple of days to help the investigation. My governor very generously lent me out on my own weekend. And I have to go there. The only Chinese guy ever closed the New Jersey Turnpike. And they even made a big parking sign, parking for Dr. Lee. After that case, I tell the special prosecutor, I said, Jim, if you give me another hot potato case like that, I'm going to have a karate chop, kill you right away. Because those hot potato case is really difficult. And of course, because if you don't handle those cases correctly, you're going to wind up a riot, looting, burning, the community and police relationship going to be beyond repair. The public going to mistrust us. That's why so important as law enforcement officer and forensic scientists, we have to adopt the change, embrace the new technology. Over my years, I found out the law enforcement is from horizontal become vertical now. The last 2 days, so many good speakers talk about globalization. The crime become globalization. When we fight in the crime, we also have to become globalization. A lot of type of global crime, and of course, early days usually talk about war crime. It's a global crime. But today, a new type of global crime, for example, drug trafficking and human trafficking, United Nations estimate about 60,000 to 8,000 women and children being trafficked around the world. Of course, with that, you have gang, international gang group. Estimate approximately 20 to 38,000 gang group worldwide. Recently, I just attended another gang conference. The Asian gang also become a major problem. With the gang, drug, of course, firearm, and global arm trafficking, money laundering, of course, e-crime, computer crime, false identity, and all those crimes, you need the teamwork. The teamwork, basically, you have to have international law and policy, multinational task force, regional police cooperation, most importantly, new police and forensic technology. If you have the technology, you can fight in the crime. Of course, teamwork, people have to work together. Besides that, a lot of conference. This probably one of the best conference. Everybody had a good time last night. They ran out of wine. That's why I left. When they tell me no more wine, so I just say go home. And otherwise, I will stay 2 more hours. That's the last time we went to Lyon, have a wonderful meeting. And with this new technology, tracking the weapons, and that's a wonderful new technology helping fighting the global crime. I want to take this opportunity to thank my buddy, Pete, and this case, Taiwan, a vice president's son was shot, and right away, my student now become the commissioner in Taiwan, called me middle of the night, regards to some reconstruction and the weapon. An innocent bystander was shot to death. Same bullet injured the former vice president's son and killed an innocent bystander sitting on the wheelchair. And this is the suspect. The weapon, as you can see, this weapon initially, they think it's made in Germany, a SIG. Anybody read Chinese? No, sir. You read Chinese? All right. Of course, this gun, and I called Pete, can he trace this gun? But he said he cannot. But he gave me a direction, and we, the assistant of ATF, right away found out this gun was manufactured actually in U.S., sold to somebody, a Filipino living in Oakland. And this person report the gun was missing, stolen, and somehow smuggled to Philippines, from Philippines smuggled to Taiwan, and used in that shooting. You think about this international, this armed trafficking, if the whole world have this IFFS system together, I think we can solve a lot of cases, stop a lot of tragedy. Of course, this is a reconstruction we did. You use a 3D laser reconstruction, shows the shot. The suspect got to the stage, close range, fired a shot, and struggle, and the same shot hit the bystander, sit in the audience. So firearm, investigation, not only a science, but also an art. A lot of new investigative technology developed over the year. Early days, we solved case so easy. When I was the police captain time, we just arrested all the suspects until one confess. If nobody confess, we usually take them to the back room. 5 minutes later, 7 confessions come out. Everybody confess. We don't need DNA, we don't need IFFS, we don't need the fingerprint, and our clearance rate is 150%. We solve more cases than actual cases. But today, of course, we rely so much on eyewitnesses. And we did the mugshot, the former Chicago chief medical examiner. He looked like a typical sex offender. Dr. Katznelson, the director of a Leningrad Legal Medical Institute, he looked like a serial killer. The middle guy is a nice guy. So witness ID, as you all know, is totally unreliable. And that's why today we solve case. We have to depend on image recording, CCTV camera, and artificial intelligence, data mining. IFFS is just one of the combination of artificial intelligence and data mining record tracking thing. So many newer technology come out. Of course, every speaker entitled to 2-second commercial. This is the best book by a fellow called Henry Lee. And of course, the forensic field, when I started in United States, only have 75 laboratory, very limited services. Nowadays, we have 369 laboratory now, expanding services, beautiful facility, and but early days, we got very little attention. But today, under public eyes, constantly under scrutiny. So we says, in 1960s, I'm working. Year 2010, I'm still working, except we have better equipment. In 1960, P used to be tall and thin, and in year 2010, that's what he looks like. The next time meeting, he's going to become even bigger. And you look at the laboratory, still, after so many years, we still have drug. The drug, 98% of the work, laboratory, all have drug backlog issue. Then firearm, that's the second one. It's biology and DNA. So latent print, that's the 5 category of major services in a forensic laboratory. of course, you talk about the people and budget. As you can see, the great majority of our money used to pay the salary. The training and really very little. So as you can see this chart, in year 1960s, as you can see, every crime scene I go there, one man work, the rest are watching. And so many years later, still one man work, the rest are watching. And that's my life. As I said, personnel, we spend almost 80% of our annual budget on personnel. As far as the training, very, very little money for training. That's why this ABBAS meeting give a lot of people an opportunity to get together to learn. It's so important. And Bob, I want to thank you for this. Of course, forensic field, early days when I started my forensic training, is one man does everything, so-called generalist. Today, we become so specialization now. A lot of newer technology also introduced. But in recent years, forensic field face a major, major problem. That's the report from National Academy. This is a long report, but the report focuses on a couple of things, basically challenge the traditional forensic evidence, from fingerprint to firearm to document, and National Academy of Science want us to define what is a match. And of course, how to interpret the result from a bite mark to a pen chips to a tool mark or to DNA. Everything they want to, some digital data, an error rate, statistical information, the traditional forensic identification, very difficult to provide that. But with ABBAS have a solution now. With firearm examination, I think eventually, with all the data accumulate, you can easily answer the court. And so what the recommendation basically need a new federal agency, have to certification, accreditation, proficient test, and every report has to be research, training, education, error rate, and verification. To build a new building, it's easy. That's what I built for the Connecticut State Police. Beautiful building. You can get the budget to build a building. You can buy equipment as long as you got the money. And the most difficult thing running a crime laboratory is to train good people. People really know what they're doing, and people really have an objective mind. That's why the bottom line of the forensic futures of forensic services is education and training. Any procedure has to be standardized. We have to show the court reliable, acceptable, reproducible. Any result have to be totally accurate, verifiable, also have to be reviewed by peers. Report has to be objective, accurate, supported by the data. Testimony, of course, you have to know the accuracy of your result. Then you have to know what's this procedure, the error rate, and you have to verify that, what's the statistical information. That's why we need more training, especially now in U.S. with Columbine shooting, D.C. snapper, and tragedy in Connecticut, Sandy Hook, and just other day, 19 injured in the Mother Day in Louisiana, New Orleans, and all those, the firearm work become more and more important. That's early days, what we do, and of course now different generation of ABBAS. Now we said the 3D, and I think this probably the solution, and everything going to be digitalized, then every examination record going to kept, so you can calculate a statistical information with some error rate. Of course, the standard, again, scientific standard, technical standard, one important thing is ethics standard, equally important. That's why a forensic scientist have to be reliable and impartial. But when we testify a lot, and when I testify for prosecution, defense lawyer always call me biased. We're police laboratory. When I testify for defense, prosecution going to call me hired gun. You give the same testimony, identical, but you've been labeled two different times. Luckily now, more and more now, the court understand the forensic science is totally objective, should not be taken side. Forensic education program in the United States have increased tremendously due to two reasons. One, in 1970, LEAP, L-E-A-A, that's a federal grant, give the police officer money, scholarship to go to school. That's why I have a surge. Then, of course, in year 2000, after all those CSI show, and a lot of young people start interested in forensic work. University in New Haven, we just one of the university. We now in U.S. about 100 colleges offer forensic science, and about 5 offer PhD. We often argue, debate, forensic training should be just learning a technique, or we should train a scientist. To train a scientist or learn a technique is different. Early days firearm, fingerprint documents, all because the traditional training is apprenticeship. Somebody take you in, or a police officer injured, no place to go, sent to the lab. And when I started in 1976, I only have 17 police officers, 2 sergeants, 1 lieutenant work for me. They either disabled or troublemaker, no place to go, sent to the lab. Now the laboratory all changed because we have a lot of scientists, all have degree, many have their terminal degree. So the concept of training forensic scientists is changed. University in New Haven, we start 1920 as a night school of Yale. In 1940, we separated, now have 6 colleges, have a College of Art and Science, College of Business, have a College of Engineer, and of course have a Henry Lee College of Criminal Justice. We have 30-some different majors, and from traditional law enforcement to correction. In addition, we also have an Institute of Forensic Science. Many of you went through there, some even took courses there. Our mission basically have 5-fold: training, consultation, research, public learning, and provide scholarship for law enforcement. We do a lot of training and a lot of special training workshop. We have 59 countries, people come over, learning, study the bullet hole, laser trajectory, ballistic trajectory. We learn how to collect evidence. We also, every year, have a international symposium, and we do run a lot of courses, a lot of program. For example, shooting, we're not only look at a wound, we start from the beginning at the scene, teach them what the equipment should use, what should bring to the scene, and we look at the casing injection pattern, try to re-establish the shooter's position. We look at each piece of evidence. In other words, is from scene to the weapon examination, to collect evidence, to look at a wound, and to write a report, and also how to testify in court. It's a complete, total approach. Of course, we show them, thank you again, and this is a really learning opportunity. Over the year, we have tremendous growth. We have about 60,000 some visitors come and visit us. We have a lot of training workshop. This group is an international group, people from Singapore, from Korea, China, Thailand, and U.S. And of course, we have people from Russia, judges come over, all different group of people. In addition, I also goes to other country. Now, which country I was in there recently? You asked me. That's the one I went there, and this is Singapore, and of course, have a lot of fans around the world. Margaret, you're not supposed to see that picture, all right? We have a learning center, and this learning center is for the public. A lot of people asking me why we provide a learning center for the public. We also have learning for professional. We also give workshops for legislators. We even invite our governor come to our center, senators and representatives. Professor Ray Crooks in 1902 says something so good, I copied that down for you. The more I help others to succeed, the more I succeed. And why we want a learning center is we want to teach the general public. When the general public appreciate forensic, appreciate new technology, then your tax, they're paying tax, they're going to support that program. When they support that program, you're more likely going to get the budget. Politicians, we want to let them know what's the future of the forensic, what's the newest equipment, because they're policymakers. They're actually holding the money. So if they're on your side, then like when we testify, getting budget, we never have any problem. They always asking me, Dr. Lee, do you want more? And other program, they always cut. And administrator, the decision maker, you have to educate them. Police officer, they're the supporter of any technology. That's why we train the police officer. Like if everybody know IFFS, then the chief have to buy IFFS. And detective, they're consumer of the technology. We forensic scientists, just the user, just use the technology. So if the grassroots support this technology, instead of we try to push, you have a much, much better to introduce this technology to the field. So the next few years, what we're going to do is to combine all of this artificial intelligence. We redesign our command room, and right now, we can link with a lot of countries. They can transmit the case to us. This is a case. Recently, I worked with Taiwan. That's my student. She became the director of forensic lab, have a case. Is this a suicide or homicide? Middle of the night, they transmit the photograph of the cop on the wrist. Of course, middle of the night, we'll look at that. If you just look at it, that looks like a homicide. One big cop. Except if you study forensic pathology, after so many years, when you take a picture, you have to push the skin back. Once you push the skin back, you see hesitation wound. Those hesitation wounds clearly shows that's a suicide. So this real time, you solve a case in a couple minutes. Instead of early days, have to travel to here. So right now, that's future. By end of the year, our design going to be complete touch screen, and you can, in real time from the crime scene, capture the evidence, submit to the institute, we have a panel expert. And of course, yesterday, a earlier speaker, I learned so much. You have such a big laboratory. Our institute, we only have 10 people, very few people. However, we have a panel of an expert, about 50. It's non-paying job. They all scatter around the world. They can be our expert. We can link them together. And of course, this really going to become a history tunnel. Have all the history in there. We're going to have a 3D crime scene simulation room, and so give the student and detective feeling about real crime scene. Of course, to do anything, you need a teamwork. Luckily, I have a very good team. Also, I have so many good friends sitting here. Many of my students, Pete, where are you hiding? So many years ago, and I thought when he was a detective in New York City, he attended my workshop, and I taught him the interrogation technique. And of course, I want to thank you very much. Give me this opportunity to come here. And if you want to be my friend in my Facebook, just hit it. And thank you very much. Thank you.